Yo, 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 what's happening? What's happening? My name Mister. This is Inside Looking In, baby. How y'all doing out there? Hope everybody's been doing their thing, living in their purpose, if not getting to it, like I always say, not sweating the down times, you know what I mean? Because there's lessons in that. So it's only up from here with anything that you're doing and anything that you're going through. You already know. Hey, all my subscribers, I appreciate y'all for supporting and always checking in for all the cool videos and everything. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Hit the notification as well so you'll be the first one to know when a new video comes up. Now, I done took some time off, like for sure. I ain't put a video up in a while. It's been crazy. It's been like the holidays, stuff is going on. I've been experiencing some personal things. Took a big loss in the family. You know, so a lot of little stuff like that going on. So I kind of slacked on putting my videos up, but I wanted to catch everybody up on everything that's been going on. So I'm doing a We Outside video today. I'm pulling up on one of my peoples. Very, very, very excited to be doing this interview right here that I'm gonna be doing. I got a surprise for y'all, and we're gonna check in with her in a little bit. Look, I already done said, kind of gave it away a little bit, but got that coming up next. So everybody out there, thanks for tuning in. Gonna have some more reaction videos coming up soon. More archive footage of checking at the inside looking in. Without further ado, baby. Boing.
Once again, Mister on it, baby.
Mister is
Always, for years and years.
I was put here to motivate. Plant seeds, let them cultivate. Spit that pollen, make the whole state of Georgia hate. And like the South, I got something to say. Outcasted coming out of VA. Jersey on, but I ain't coming to play.
Harris, depart. Depart, Harris. Oh, that's what.
God.
Hi. We ready? That is what the you're not gonna do.
Hey, y'all.
What's up, miss?
What's up, Bella?
Man, I'm good. How are you?
Doing?
I feel like we didn't even call each other.
We didn't. We already matching. You got the, you know.
It's a love relationship. We had to wear some red.
You already know. You already know. So what's up, man?
First, I must love you
Yeah,
to be doing this.
I know it, man.
I don't do interviews. I have been asked over and over and over again by people to do interviews and just sit down and chop it up, and I always say no. But for Mister, I will do anything.
Thank you.
'Cause I
See
love you.
that? See the love out here is real.
So what's good?
Man, my homegirl, my fam, my sis, Bella. Bella is such a phenomenal person
Aw.
that anybody would forever want to have as someone that is a friend. First off,
This is not a
And
sponsored. That's not a sponsored post.
It's not a sponsored post, but huge supporter, just genuinely just good peoples. You know, great conversation, just a well of information as well. And she's super plugged and super humble, so you wouldn't even know it. You know what I mean? You run up on Bella and have a conversation with her, not knowing the type of stuff she knows and the people that she knows, circles that she's in. I mean, I'm just talking about just thebomb.com. You know what I'm saying? Thebomb.net.
That's
all
such a
of
great
that.
introduction. I feel full of myself. Yes.
Yeah,
I need a
yeah,
soundbite.
yeah,
I need to listen to that every morning.
Yeah. Currently, right now, you can
Need more
catch
makeup.
Bella all out. She's all on the tube right now on the Brat Loves Judy reality series.
Season
what I'm
3.
saying? Season 3. So it's been all the way up for her on that. And she's, you know, behind some of your favorite artists out there that's been helping out and push them forward in the culture. But I'm going to let her talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just want to find out, like, Bella, where did it all start? Like, you've been in it. First of all, how long you been in the entertainment industry, music industry, whatever? Like,
Almost
how long?
20 years.
Almost 20 years. Okay, and you're from Baltimore.
Baltimore. Be more in the building. I've lived in Florida. I've lived in New York. I've lived, but mainly in Baltimore.
B-Mo.
Still in Be More.
Stand up, B-Mo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Baltimore is where it all started. So
Yeah.
I just want to get right to it, because a lot of people out here just trying to make their way in the industry, and they feel they have to be the artist or the producer or whatever. But it's a lot of different roles that a lot of pivotal people play behind the scenes in the music industry. So Bella, you being one of them, how did it start? How did you even get in the door? How'd you get on the inside?
Yeah. So I was a singer.
You
A lot
was
of
a
people don't know
singer?
that I was a singer. I say was because I do not sing any longer.
Now, because you said you told me that you.
We have full conversations.
Started as a singer. I don't remember that.
That's when they smoke a lot.
I don't
when
remember.
we're on tour and they smoke a lot, they don't listen to little old Bella.
I just don't remember that because I would have had you hit something like, give me a note or two.
No, remember we were in like Orlando and Brat had me singing in the car.
Do one little run, Bella. Come on, just like a.
No, we're good.
Or just hold one tone, one note.
We're not doing that. I don't sing anymore.
Okay, so you was in a singing group.
I got PTSD from singing.
So did you start singing were you always singing like as a kid?
No, so I played sports my whole life. But I was told by family members that I would always be someone, whether I was a TV personality, whether I was always told that I would be some form of a celebrity. And that I just had too big of a personality that's just kind of where they always just saw me. And I was really talkative and you know, I started at about 11 really getting into music, really enjoying it, singing in church, you know.
To church.
Everybody sings in church.
Start in
Damn
the
church.
You gotta
Church
start
gets
in the
everybody
church.
singing.
Yeah.
Now my church is a little bit different.
How was your churches? Was your churches the 1 hour church services? Like y'all was in and out in 30 minutes?
No, so I was Catholic and I was Presbyterian. So I had to do two different churches.
Wow.
And then I was a deacon. I did it all.
You was a deacon?
I was a deacon.
I didn't. So women can be a deacon too? They were called deaconesses. Were you called a deaconess?
No, we were deacons.
You were just a
in the
straight up
Presbyterian churches.
That's interesting right there. Okay. Because you know I'm a PK.
I was also a wise man.
What is that?
So when you do like the Christmas service,
Oh.
they would never let me play Mary. I don't know why. I always had to
You
be a
was the
wise
wise
man.
man.
Every year I was like the wise man.
You know what,
I
Bella?
always had to be
That kind of fits.
And I had like the curly hair, so they would bring me in. I would be like, just let me be like big baby Jesus or something.
That kind of fits for you right now, the wise. Okay, so you... Yo, this is
That's a
all
little tip.
This is all stuff I didn't know, yo, bro. Like, okay, you was a deacon in the church.
I know. I did, but you know what? So church really did it for me though, because that's where I feel like I got my good heart from.
Okay,
like
yeah.
after
Good
service,
foundation.
we had the you know, I went to a Presbyterian church. It was a very, very well respected church in Baltimore. All the local celebrities went there. It was like the it church of the community. You had to have a lot of money to go there. Like
Okay.
that it was just so we had flowers upon flowers every single Sunday service. Like it was like Easter or Christmas every single Sunday service.
Would it be considered like a mega church? Like a church like that?
No, it just had a lot of money.
Just had a lot of money. Okay.
And they collected a lot of fucking money from people. But I would always take the flowers and deliver them to like the nursing homes and like everybody that needed it afterwards.
Okay.
And I feel like that's where like to see that smile that you would bring to people's faces.
Yeah.
And these are people that don't have family, like
Yeah.
they couldn't get to church. So it was really connecting with the elderly community that kind of humbled me a lot. And I was like, wow, like this is so important. And I feel like that's where my do-gooder started to come from.
Okay.
And then within church, like I was in the choir and I thought I was gonna be a sister act. Like that was that era where I was gonna come running across the stage. Like I was gonna try to do a backflip. You know, I was ready. I tried to come in singing the Mary Had a Little Lamb verse.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
But no, so I just, you know, I started singing and then, you know, auditioned and made it a couple rounds on making the band when they were doing the girl group.
Where you went through that? Mm-hmm. So hold on.
So I did the auditions in Virginia Beach.
So you did so you was in the crib, yeah. So you did audition for making the band. For all y'all that are watching, some of y'all may remember, may not remember, but
So it would have been Danny the King.
Yeah, Danny Kane came from there. Diddy had a show called Making the Band where everybody from all across the country would audition to try to make it to this TV show, reality show, where they put together a group that was signed to Bad Boy.
So with that point, so here's what I'm gonna give a little tidbit, and I'm a very blunt person when it comes to artists. Know your place. I was never a solo artist. I was never strong enough. I'm an alto 1, alto 2. Like I'm a very deep. I can go down to a tenor if I have to. Like.
But they had you as.
But I was never. As an artist, know your craft. If you are not a lead singer, if you are not a Beyonce, a Mariah, a Jennifer Hudson, like if you don't have that powerhouse of a voice, It doesn't mean that you can't be in the industry. It just means that you need a couple other bitches around you to be whole.
Yeah.
I was that bitch. Like, I
yeah.
knew that I was never going to make it as a solo artist. Like,
Okay.
I was never going to be a powerhouse because I couldn't compete with the market.
Uh-huh.
But I could play backup to one of y'all. Like, I could be behind you. And I had a really cute face. So I put myself in there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I did I did the auditions, went through that, and that was like my first real taste of like auditioning, because I was
Yeah.
like, well, fuck it, what else do I have to lose? I'm just
Probably
gonna go
was
audition.
There probably was a gang of people there.
And oh my god, it was crazy. Like, it was crazy, and I made it through 4 rounds, and then I got cut.
Man, that's
I made it
what's
to
up.
like the dancing and choreography and all that.
That's what's up.
And then in that line, I met these 2 chicks, Margarita and Jennifer.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, we're from New York. Like, fuck this. Like, we'll put together our own girl group. And I was like, all right, word. Like, I'm with it. So then I went to New York like a week later. I met up with this girl, Nina. Nina was the star.
Okay.
Nina was the Selena at that moment.
Oh,
I need to track. Like, I don't know what happened to her because her voice was so fucking incredible.
Nina
Vega. And, you know, we started working together. We were choreographing. We were doing all this stuff. You know, we were getting approached. We had these great managers. Everything was going great. And then one of our bandmates was like, fuck it, I'm out. She just got up one day and she was like, I had a bad dream. Spiritually, I'm not here no more and I'm out.
wow.
Again, this is to your artist. You got it. So do we stop, or are we like, fuck it, we're going to now go from 4 to 3? So we went from a group of 4 and we were like, cool, now there's 3 of us. Is Nina, Margarita, and I went by Isabella. So we changed our name to Ismani, which was the first 2 letters of all of our names.
Okay.
And we became like this Latin R&B group, which was great because there wasn't a market for it.
Okay.
Now the fun piece about this is that a bitch is not Spanish. But we sang in Spanish.
So, you're national. You're Italian, right? But you were in a Latin group, Latin R&B group.
Oh, I'll show you some pictures. I'll post them up.
This is.
We had a jingle on Latino Mix.
Really.
I remember being in the studio and they would tell me like the words and I was like, what the fuck am I saying? Like, what does this mean?
Y'all sang in Spanish?
Yeah, because it's a huge, there's so much money in the Latin market. Like,
Who in the group was Latin? Nina.
Nina and Margarita.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like, they both were very fluent. Like, they were both Puerto Rican. Like,
So you really just needed to adapt to. Okay. So yeah, but you can handle that. So you did that.
But, and I looked like I could be Latin.
Right.
And you look at some of these pictures, like, they were making me into like a mini J-Lo. Like,
I gotta see the pictures.
hair,
too.
lips. They had my lips all plumped up. Like, I had my
Yeah.
belly out. I had my titty show. Like, it was on.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got some opportunities. We did some tours. We were doing this tour in Connecticut, and it was like 75,000 people. We were opening up for Fat Joe. Like, before Fat Joe was Fat Joe, like, we were opening up for him. We were on tour. And I remember we were coming off stage, and, like, we were singing about some dude, and he cheated on us, and we were going to slit his throat, and, like, I didn't even know what the fucking word of the song. But the crowd loved it. Like, they were all for it.
Yeah.
And I was coming off stage and some bitch grabbed me by the back of my hair and pulled me to try to take a picture because they had like these big barrier cages around the stage because it got a little crazy.
Yeah.
And in that moment, at that same time, I saw these 3 little white men standing in the corner. And I was like, first of all, I don't like what the fuck this bitch is doing. Mm-hmm. But who are they?
Right.
And it was like a flash that I was like, I don't like this hair pull. I don't like this bitch that I don't know pulling hair.
Yeah.
But I want to know who these 3 people are.
Yeah.
Because you got really nice, and I look at everybody. So I'm really big on shoes. So when I'm meeting you, I look at your shoes. First thing I go to is your shoes. Because your outfit could be fucking from the dollar store.
Right.
But if your shoes are on point, you can make anything look good. Doesn't matter what you're wearing.
Yeah.
So I look at their shoes and I'm like, they have really, really nice shoes on. And they don't belong in this crowd.
Right.
So for me, that screams money.
Uh-huh.
So I walk right in the middle. Don't know any of them. And I'm like, hi, I'm Isabella. Who are you and what do you do? And they were really standoffish. And I was like, simple question. What do you do? And they were like, we're responsible. We're the buyers. And I was like, the buyers? Like, who's for sale? Like, I was so green at this. I was like, who's for bitch? This some human trafficking shit. Like, who's for sale? What y'all buying?
Yeah.
Like, I was so green because I
Right.
didn't know this terminology. Because again, like, I was just breaking into the industry. I was like 17
Right.
in the city. Like, I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
This is in New York, right?
Well, we were in Connecticut at this point.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
Okay, so Connecticut.
But I'm like, who
okay.
y'all buying? Because I never heard that terminology. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't on tour. I didn't know what a buyer was. I didn't know what a promoter was. I just knew that I got a check and they took me in a limo and I went to the next state.
Right.
Like, that was my role.
Right.
And I was like, what do you guys buy? And they were like, all of this. All of you. And I was like, what does that mean? And they were like, we promote tours. Like, we put on all these tours. And I was like, and you make money? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, how do I get your job?
Yeah.
And that's where it started for me. Because now I was like, and he was like, all right, I'll shoot the shit with you. Mm-hmm. This is what we made off this tour. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? It changed. Like, that moment changed for me. Because I was like, I don't like my hair being pulled. I don't like being in front of the camera. I hated being in front of the camera.
Okay.
I don't really like to sing. I just want to be involved in entertainment somehow.
Right.
But nobody ever told me that I didn't have to be a star to be involved in entertainment. And I think that goes back to your point.
Exactly my point.
Is that I never knew that I could break into the industry behind the camera.
Right.
Behind the microphone.
Right.
I thought I had to be front and center to be in the industry. That was the only way. And keep in mind, I was coming up in an era where we would go into auditions as a band, and I remember being in a Sony executive's office, and he would sit back in the chair and be like, y'all sound great, but what are you gonna do for me? And I was like, bitch, I'm like a mob. Like, I will chop you. What the fuck you mean?
Whoa.
Like, it was that era where like guys were really grimy.
Yeah.
Like these producers and these record executives and some of the shit that like I've had men say to me, I was like, this is not the industry for me. And to that point, it was we went on another audition to do this other tour, and this buyer, and he came up, and I remember him putting his hand down my leg, and I was like, and I remember grabbing him, and I was like, that's it. I was like, I want out of my contract. I'm done. I don't want any parts of this. And I remember calling my mother, and I said, I'm going to start a business where I protect women. And I'm only going to work with women artists. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to figure out how to be those three men, because I don't trust those three men either. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to figure out how to get into this industry and make sure that the women that I work with don't have to deal with these fucking pigs. And you don't have to fuck your way into the industry. You don't have to fuck your way to get a hit record. Right. You don't have to fuck your way to make money.
Right.
If that's what you want to do, that's your own business. Like, I don't care who you fuck, but you don't have to.
Right.
So I started reading and reading and reading and reading. And I was in the studio, and I just so happened to meet Little Mo. And this was when Little Mo was at the height of her career.
Okay, so let's stop right here. Whew. Jeez, Bella.
It's a lot.
You got a story, yo. So, okay, so yo, you're killing me right now. All this information now. For us to be so tight, and for years we've been down. I'm just learning a lot of this stuff right here. So I'm telling you, this is like a reaction videos that I'll be doing. Like this is real live.
You're reacting to me.
I'm loving this right now.
I don't talk about me.
That's what's up. I'm glad.
Me doesn't matter. What matters is getting y'all to do shit.
Man, it's okay. So look, all right. So you went through all of that. Now you like,
I'm in full management mode.
I'm in management mode. I'm about to be.
So I'm in full management mode. I'm back in Baltimore.
You're back in Baltimore. Okay.
So I realized that in order to get into this industry, you got to figure out to know someone. You got to figure out who you know, who knows who, what are we going to do?
Oh, my pen. Okay, I'm good. Yeah.
So at this point, my family has a restaurant in Little Italy. It was called Mynamemister. I worked there. Anybody who was anybody came to that restaurant. From Frank Sinatra to, anybody came there. Like
Your family's restaurant?
Yeah, like it was the restaurant to go to.
What's it called again?
Mynamemister.
Mynamemister.
So everybody went there. Every baseball player, it was just the spot that you went to. So me working there, I'm like, well, fuck, if I have this great opportunity, like, why don't I start inviting people to the restaurant? Like, they're going to come anyway. And, like, at this point, like, we would pay the hotels to tell people where to go. Like, it was this whole methodology behind it. Like, okay. And my aunt was really, really smart at doing that. Like, she got in all the concierge at the hotel's pocket to be like, oh, well, if such and such is staying at your hotel, here's $100. Make sure you bring them to my restaurant. And there was no social media. There wasn't any post.
Right.
Like, it was just that we would take a picture. They would go on the wall, and it showed that. And word of mouth spread so fast that when you were in Baltimore, you went for the veal chop, you went for the sword fit. Like, this is what you went there for. So anybody who came through the city, they knew to go eat there.
Okay.
But because I worked there, I wanted to capitalize on that. And this is where it comes into, like, you have to, shit just doesn't happen. Like, you have to strategically plan out what you're going to do and how you're going to accomplish your goal. Okay. So here, and you've got to use your resources. Like, I have a restaurant that I'm fortunate enough to be a part of that I can invite people in and I can comp their meal. So what celebrity is in town that's going to benefit me that I could be like, yo, come on through, have a nice meal, and then we'll just start talking, and then maybe we'll exchange numbers, and then who knows what can happen.
Yeah, right.
So I started getting really, really good at networking and building up at that point it was like a Rolodex, because like we had flip phones and like pagers and like 2-ways and shit. Like
2-ways.
So, I started getting really good at that, and Little Mo had her first show on Baltimore, because she's from Baltimore, on 92Q Jams.
Shout out Lil Mo, Cindy.
And I heard her for the first time, and I knew who she, like, I went roller skating to her. Like, I knew who she was. She was just getting started. Like, this was at the beginning of her career. And I was like, I need her to come to the restaurant. So I'm going to call the radio station, and I'm going to keep calling the hotline until I get through. So it was like 410-481-9290. I don't know how I remember that fucking phone number. But I had that shit programmed, and I called on her segments. And I finally got her. And I was like, you should come to my family's restaurant and we'll comp your whole meal and we'll give you whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. And it's really good food and it's great food. And she was like, all right, bet, we'll come tonight.
Yeah.
Well, she was coming with the head executive, Dan Canigliaro, who was the head A&R for Capitol Records.
Okay.
Nikki, who ran all of Radio 1 at that point.
Okay.
And she was like, well, I'm going to bring a couple people with me.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, cool. Like, bring everybody. I don't care. Come have dinner. It's going to be a great,
know who these people are.
I don't know who. She just said she's bringing some people.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, word. She doesn't know what I look like. I kind of know what she looks like because I've seen a couple things on her. But I knew that she was a big artist getting ready to hit.
Right.
So she comes in and she's like this big. Like, she Little Mo.
Yeah.
And we just like start chopping it up. And immediately she's like, I fuck with you. Like, your vibe is just like... Because if it's one thing about me, like, I am a chameleon. Wherever I am, I will adapt to my environment. And it was like, I always was meant to have a seat at whatever table I was at. Whether it's with the top C-level executives of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, to the grimiest people that I need to talk to in the gutter and sit there and have I don't care who you are. If there's value for us to have a seat at a table, I'm going to get at the table. And I'm going to fit in wherever I'm at.
That's a great skill set.
And... we just started chopping up, and she was like, you're super dope. And I was like, well, let's exchange phone numbers. Like, let's have a conversation. If there's ever an opportunity, like, let's kick it. Fast forward a couple of months. I'm in a studio in New York. Meezy is in the studio.
Okay. Lil
Mo. And I hear her, and I was like, oh, shit. So I go in, and I'm like, yo, like, and it took her like a minute to remember, but this was vital for me. And this was the biggest lesson that I learned, is that there was a 3-month gap.
Yeah.
That went on. And within those 3 months, she forgot who I was. Makes sense. I'm nobody right now.
Right.
But it was so important to me that I was like, fuck, I can never let an opportunity like this slip away again.
Right.
I need to figure out how I'm going to, if I can't physically be in front of your face, how am I going to engage with you?
Right, that's important.
To stay top of mind.
Yeah.
So you don't forget me.
Yeah.
So how do I stay connected with these people?
Yeah.
Well, you, first and foremost, you don't really know me. But I still want to be like, oh yeah, Bella? Yeah, I know Bella. Like, and I had to figure that out really quickly. So we started chopping it up. There. It was with, her husband, Phil, at the time, was like a little skeptical because we had this immediate, like, within 30 seconds of her remembering who I was, it was like this instant, like, hey, girl, and like just started talking about everything. And I was like, look, like, you got all these projects going on. Like, can I work for you? And she was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I have no idea. I don't know what I want to do because all I know is there was 3 little men standing. I want to do whatever. I don't even know. Like, I want to be a buyer. No, I don't think so. I want to be a promoter. Like, I want to be in the industry. So tell me what I got to do.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I don't really know. Like, can you do PR? And I was like, yep. What's PR? Bitch was on Google like, PR, public relations. Cool. What's that? I'm gonna figure that shit out tonight. I figured it out, and in 2 days I figured out what PR was.
Yeah.
I figured out how to write a press release. I figured out how to get their content going. She was like, "Well, can you do marketing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can do it all."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Okay, well, why don't you come up with an idea or a concept for the single?" And I was like, "Okay."
Okay.
Fuck does that mean?
Okay.
Bring back to the Google. I was like, concept for music video. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let me do a PowerPoint because that looks like it would be professional.
Okay.
Show up with a PowerPoint to a hip hop studio is not a good look. I think that is. I was all prepared. I was like, look, guys, I got my PowerPoint. I'm
Ready to kill it.
I got slides. Like, I was that girl that showed up, and they were like, what the fuck is this white bitch thinking?
Oh my gosh, yo.
So I did that, but I was really good. And I was good because if I didn't know the skill set, I was not going to let on that I didn't know what I wasn't doing. So I was really quickly grabbing on to every little tidbit that she needed. And Phil at the time noticed it.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're really good. Would you want to, Mo's getting ready to start a label. Like, would you want to be the GM of her label? And I was like, yeah. What's the job requirements?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what do I do?
Yeah.
You know, and it was day to day. It was everything. It was assisting. It was managing. It was contract negotiations. It was shit that I had, like, it was the golden opportunity. But I say that because there are people that think that you got to come in and you're going to come in at this top level position. Like, she could have told me to walk around and hand her lotion on tour, and I would have done it at that point.
Right.
Like, I needed a break, and I needed someone to give me a shot.
Right.
Because I had enough confidence within myself at this moment, and I was so driven in my mind that I was going to break into the industry that nothing was going to stop me.
Right.
By any means necessary, besides fucking, I was going to get into the industry. Like, I wasn't going to fuck my way into the industry.
Right.
But she gave me a real shot. And it was a fast turnaround because I was picking shit up. So I was designing her website. Like, I was doing all this shit because I was so hungry trying to figure everything out and working on this new album that she had coming up and working on the single release and figuring out visuals and doing all this stuff. And at that time, it just so happened that she and her husband had a falling out, who was her manager. And she was like, well, why don't you just manage me? And I was like, so I came in from being a PR, not knowing what PR was, to her manager in less than a year and a half.
Okay. There we have it so far. The crack kicking down the door of getting inside.
Oh, I blew that
industry.
motherfucker open.
You blew it open. Like, all that you just said was like, oh my gosh. It shows so much like drive, hunger, tenacity, and persistence. You know what I mean? What I will say is that, okay, a quick question. When she said come up with something, could you do PR, come up with something as a concept for the video, you wasn't officially like hired to work with her yet. She was just trying to see.
I wasn't even getting paid. I didn't even ask for money.
Right, you didn't even ask for money. So you everything that she was doing wasn't money. You were just kind of getting in, making. I
don't even think I thought about money.
Okay. You was just.
I don't think it was until like Mo handed me like a huge stack of money and she was like, here's for the last couple of months. And I was like, huh? It didn't even register because I knew I wanted the money, but I didn't think I was there yet.
Right.
I didn't think I was there at a position to ask for money.
So you was
because
doing
I wasn't proving enough value at that point.
At least, yeah, that you were thinking of.
I was like, how am I gonna ask for money when I'm rolling into something that I've never done before?
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I needed to like earn my way into the spot to then be like,
you.
okay, now can I get some bread?
Gotcha. And that's important.
And like, I will say, like, as this was going on, I still had a full-time job.
Okay. All right, cool.
So I was still working at that point in like mortgages or some shit.
Okay.
So I was still making a good amount of money. I've been very resourceful to have income coming from all layers.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that's important to know. Like, while you're doing all of this, and as much as you're doing,
It was like a hobby that I wanted to turn into a career.
Right. But you're definitely dedicating, investing a lot of time and energy into doing that while having a job on the side, because you said you were working at the restaurant for one, and then you say now you were doing some mortgage stuff as well.
I had money coming always.
Yeah, so artists that are out here trying to do this stuff, there is possibility, it is potential for you to still make something happen. You got to work probably, I'm sure, 3-4 times as hard and as hustle, being that you are working another job, but you can still do that while you're working. And it'll also help you in not being greedy and not being impatient with the process of what you got to go through to get in to the game and make stuff happen. It's a process, and sometimes it's a long drawn out process. For yours, you sound like you were blessed to like be in positions at the right time to where things kind of happen for you, kind of like a quicker turnaround than most would happen.
Well, yeah, I feel like I was kicking down the doors, or I was finding the opportunity. So I think there's a big component there is to find the opportunities and bring them to you. If you wait for an opportunity to come, like, well, I'm a good artist. Like, somebody gonna see my social media page.
Right,
It's gonna, no, you need to be in every motherfucking person's DMs. You need to be sending that shit out. You need to be posting that link. You need to do the work. Like, find the opportunities. If someone gets signed and they tag someone, I, to this day, will go follow whoever the fuck that person is or that executive is, because I may need you later down the road. Whoever this new, because A&Rs constantly change. They all change. You know, same thing if somebody says, oh, I just got this dope ass hoodie from something, and they tag the person that gifted them that. I'm like, who the fuck?
Yeah.
Let's be friends and network.
Yeah.
Like, because I may need you and you may need me for something someday.
I think what's dope that you said in your journey was that you were working at the restaurant that your family owned, and you turned, like you just said, you have to go find the opportunities and bring them to you. The fact that you just had that insight and to just know to like, let me leverage the position that I'm in. It working for both the restaurant, but it's also working for you as well, and helping you do what you got to do. And you're also giving something to someone. So it's not like you're asking them for their time for free or something that's a waste of their time. You're giving them an experience.
There's got to be a value for them.
Yeah, it's got to be a value for them. So you created that value within yourself by giving them something, but in return, you're getting something out of it. So it's all like the leverage of having something to offer. Yep. When you're coming at these people that you want to do business with, you have to have something to offer them of value that is going to make it worth their time.
And the value to that point, though, the value could be you. Like, you could be that. You could be that it. You could be that. But you have to be, come as the package. Come as the completed full package. Like, I don't want to have to clean up all your shit.
Right.
I don't want to have to teach you anything. If you're gonna come as that person, the value is that I don't have to do any work. You're the full package. You're ready to go.
Exactly.
The value is not how if I have to teach you stage presence. If I have to teach you, how to do a photo shoot. If I have to teach you how to, conduct an interview. If I have to teach you how to follow a schedule. Like, there's so many different components. That it's a headache. I don't want to take the time. There's not enough time right now. I'm going to go to the person next to you that looks like they have all their shit together.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to skip you, and you may have just lost that opportunity. And that's something that's very, very big that everyone needs to realize. Nobody owes you anything. Just because she could have came for the meal and left.
Right.
I had to have enough value to figure out how to have a conversation with her. And this goes into researching. And I researched the hell out of her to find out some of the topics that she was interested in so I can have a conversation with her about it.
Wow, that's
and it's like they say, like, you got to know your audience, right? So if I'm having a seat at the table with somebody and I know that they're into football, I'm going to have a full-blown conversation with them to get them comfortable to now slide in there. Yeah. So by the way, I'm looking at doing artist management and I know you run this label. Like, how could we talk? Well, now for this person, their guard's down. They've opened that. They went from like this to like they're kind of kicked back. The conversation, we might be smoking. Like, they've opened up that olive branch that now they're like, well, no, I got a couple artists. Like, why don't we kick it? Like, let's talk some more. Yeah. Versus if I sit down and I'm like, so I want to be a manager. Like, let me do. They're like, whoa, that's not the energy that we have right now. Like, why are you coming at me so aggressively when I haven't invited you to give me that conversation? I'm going there with the intention that I may not get another opportunity.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that I'm going to throw everything out them, because that may jeopardize the one opportunity that I have. I'm going to position it enough to get them interested in me to then ask that question. So what do you do? Well, now you've opened it. So now when I tell you everything that I do and everything that I want to do, I don't look grimy. I don't look like I'm begging you to tell, look at me, I'm this artist, look at me.
Right.
You've opened that conversation. So now I can say, well, actually, I just started working with a couple of artists. I'm trying to take on a couple of other artists. You know, I know you run this big label. I want to have this conversation. Like, maybe we could all work together. Cool. Yeah. And it's a much more relaxed conversation. And more importantly, psychologically, they think that they started it.
Yeah.
So even though I came to the table knowing what the fuck I was coming to say,
Right.
I knew I was going to leave saying that conversation.
Right.
Psychologically, you think that you asked me and it was your idea as to how we got here.
Right. So you finally there. You're a manager. You're managing Lil Mo.
Doing contracts, negotiations. We're
you
flying
doing-
all
you
over.
doing-
Like, we're doing it all.
So you're feeling like the guys in the suit. Like you're that boss. You like that person that's like making things happen. And
I was
what
content.
you-
I'll say I was content, but I wanted more. I wanted more because, like, I then, you know, the industry kept changing. I kept seeing other people, and I was like, oh, word, like, I want to be like this person, like, or I want to be like that person, or I want to be the female Diddy, just not dancing. I want to be the person here, because now I can see how much money you can make out of this. And at the end of the day, money makes the world go round. But for me, it's always been the passion. And I think that's the difference is I knew that I had to keep a job to pay my bills. And a job that would allow me the flexibility to be able to still work in this industry and not make the amount of money that I can make in a corporate job.
right.
So if everything was strategically planned, everything is still strategically planned with me, because without a plan, there's no execution. Without a plan, nothing gets implemented correctly. There's a lot of ideas that just gets floating around and nothing happens.
Right.
You know, ideas that get floated around is wasted time. So we could sit here and we could chop it up and we could talk about all of these different strategies and we could talk about all these different goals. And then when we leave here, if we never speak of it again, it was a waste of time. It was a good time because this is family.
Right.
But if this was a business meeting and you were sitting down and you're saying, Bella, I want you to manage me.
Right.
And I'm talking and I'm like, great, well, this is what I need or this is what you need. And neither one of us do it. We just wasted each other's time.
Yeah.
So that's where I say, like, having a plan and a strategy and implementation is so important. And accountability is so important because nothing happens.
Right.
And I will say, one of the best things that I loved about Mo is, I've called her about 10 different names right now. I have so many nicknames for her. And Mo too, like, I'll say, like, that was where I got on TV first. Like, we did R&B Divas LA together.
I remember
I did the
that.
contracts with that. I was on that with Kelly Price. That's where I met Kelly Price.
I remember that show.
Like, it was... That show was fucking crazy.
Yeah,
but I remember in that, and that's where they were like, oh, Bella, we want to put you on camera. And I was like, I don't do camera. And they were like, no, like, we really want to get you on camera. And I was like, no, I don't think, like, I hate the fucking camera. And that was like my first taste of doing like reality TV.
Right.
I hated every moment of that.
Where did it go from there after Lil Mo?
So Little Mo at this point, you know, we're now in what, 2008, I think at this point now? Like, years have passed.
How old were you when you became her manager?
I'd have to go backwards.
So for about how many years? From
Like
19? Because I'm thinking your journey
20...
started at 18. Your journey started at 18, and so where you made it to a
I was probably
manager.
like 26 at this point.
So say about 8 years, 7-8 years.
So I'm trying to calculate, and then I was working with her for a couple of years. I was working with her for a good like 6 to 7 years before I met you guys.
Oh, like 6 or 7 years before us.
Yeah.
So
Maybe a little bit younger.
So
I have to go
yeah.
back and look at all the timeline.
So yeah, I'm just saying that to say like you persevered and was on this journey of getting in the inside in the position that you wanted to be as far as a manager. You made that happen, and it took about 7 to 8 years of you putting in the work.
And it was a
doing what
lot.
you
Like
do.
it was. I mean, clearly, like we're talking within an hour time span. Like
Yeah.
there was a lot of in between stuff that got me to be her manager, and there was a lot of grimy work, and there was a couple of years in between there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was all worth it.
Uh-huh.
I loved Mo. I still love Mo to this day. Mo and I still talk to this day. Mo, and it's one thing about me is I'm very, very loyal. Mo can still call me to this day right now and be like, fuck Bella, I need help. I need a contract done. And I'm like, girl, I still got all your templates.
Yeah.
Like, has the rider changed? Like,
That's dope.
I have a file on every client that I've worked with.
That's dope.
Because they know my OCD and they know that I'll have a file of it.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I've always told Mo is because she gave me that opportunity, I would always have her back. She could call me for anything. She could be stranded and I would figure out a way to get her home.
Right.
Like, she could call me and be like, I need somebody to go on the road with me, and I would go. Like, she could call me for anything.
Yes.
I was that bitch that would get in the car if we had to go fuck somebody up. Like,
Yeah.
you know, she's family too. Like, we have a great relationship. I love her kids. Like, I think she's so talented. I love where she's at right now. She's got, I think 2023 is going to be huge for her. She's told me some of the projects and I've listened to some of her music. Like, I'm very proud of her and I'm very proud as to where she's come. And I think that she is such an incredible artist as well.
She's an incredible artist, incredible person. She told you how we met?
You and music?
Yeah. So you don't know our story?
Uh-uh.
Really? Oh, okay.
Y'all met in the studio with Adam or no?
Nah, we went to school together.
You and Meezy?
As kids, yes.
How are we all connected?
We did talent shows together in school.
That's crazy.
Like, this was like, cause her family at one point was in the military.
Yeah.
And I was
Diddy,
military brat as well. So we met in Texas at a we went to school there in Texas, rode the school bus, everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like together. So I knew her as, I got a yearbook.
You got her as Cynthia?
Yeah, I got
Cynthia.
Cynthia Loving. You know what I'm saying?
Cynthia Loving.
But she used to say at that time, she used to be like, yeah, I ain't Cindy from Long Island, New York. That's what she would say all the time, Cindy from Long Island, whatever. But I know she rep like this New York, Long Island, New York, and Baltimore.
She represents everywhere.
But, because she been everywhere, kind of like me.
Y'all military brats.
So, yeah, she at the time, like I said, I got yearbooks to where, you know, everybody used to sign your yearbook and stuff like that. And you'll put by certain pictures like a little note, my dog. You know,
see if any kids that are in high school see this video, we had these nice paper books.
Yes,
shit, we didn't come out on an iPad.
Yes,
we had these nice books that you would get. You were so excited at the end because you would get your friends' phone numbers. Like we didn't have phones. Like
say little stories. You would be
like,
in there.
You know, I hope you have the best summer because you weren't going to talk to them all summer because there was no way to reach them. They don't know nothing about that. Like
they don't know nothing about that.
That yearbook was like your memories.
And
that was your texting.
I still got my yearbooks, and I got the one with Cynthia, with Lil Mo in it and everything. And I put cute by like her picture. Like you used to label everybody. So you used to label.
You had a crush on Meezy?
Nah, we was cool. We was just friends. My friend liked her. Like my best friend Chris is the one who liked Cindy. Like, and her little brother James. My sister used to have a little crush on him. But yeah, but we did talent shows and everything. Funny. And I specifically remember her from a talent show we did one time. We did it at another school. Her and this other girl was in a group together. Her and Shamika, they was like in a duo together or whatever. So they would sing by BB and CeCe Winans. The song they used to perform was Heaven. That was the name of the song they had. So, you know, she named her daughter Heaven. But she used to sing that, and there was a part on there where she used to take off, like do her own thing on there. Like I think she was doing CeCe's part.
I mean, let's be honest. Though. Meezy's vocals are so underrated.
Her vocals was so strong then, like in 6th grade.
It's crazy.
6th, 7th grade. Everybody was in the crowd looking like she just killed it.
She's a powerhouse. Like she's got this set of lungs on her.
Man, yo.
That is such a powerhouse.
And it's that church.
And I think so many people sleep on her.
Yeah, they do.
And then when she steps up to the plate and she actually blows, they're like, shit.
I done seen her tear it down. I know you have, but I'm just saying, like, she's been doing it. She's had the it since way back.
That is I never knew that story. It's like we're all somehow connected. Yeah, so that's crazy.
This is how we reconnected. Because then I was in the studio with Brat and R-Dot. Yeah. And we're just talking or whatever. And she was just like, yeah, I need to go catch up with... but I didn't when Lil Mo came out, I didn't know it was Cindy. So I'm jamming to her, and then I'm just looking, and I saw the single in the store one time, and I picked it up, and I'm looking at the picture on the single for Superwoman. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, Lil Mo, I like this song, whatever. And I was like, she just looks so familiar to me or whatever. I just kept looking at the picture, turned it over, looked at the credits, and it said Cynthia Lovin'. I said, oh shit. I was like, is this Cindy? Man, but I never got in contact with her.
That's
so fast
crazy,
forward,
because there was no social media.
yeah, it wasn't no way to
no
catch it. It's like
wasn't
she done.
Facebook yet.
I'm like, Cynthia done blew up. I was like, oh snap. So I'm in the studio with Ralph and Brat, and she talking about, yeah, I'm finna go. I'm talking to my girl Lil Mo. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Like, yeah, we talking about some stuff back in the day, whatever. And I was like, Lil Mo on the phone with you? She was like, yeah. And I was just like, tell her Mister said what's up. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, hi, she what, you know, she thinks she know you or whatever. And she was like, you think she knows? She was like, yeah. She was like, my little brother Mister over here said what's up. And then she was like, she must have said something. And Brat was like, oh, she talking about some Mr. Overstreet or whatever like that. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, whatever. And she was just like, tell her I said what's up. So they chopped up whatever.
That's funny.
So then Brat was going to meet her downtown. And then she was like, I need you to roll with me. I'm finna go meet up with Lil Mo, so come with me. So then I had met her downtown at the Omni Hotel, and she came. And then that was the first time I had seen her since like 7th or 8th grade.
That's
and we just caught up like, yo, started talking about people we know, all that type of stuff. So yeah, we got that history of like back in grade school doing talent shows and everything. And then she's who she is. I'm with Brad. They connect, you know, because they have a relationship or whatever.
That's like the whole universe like coming together.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
Together,
putting it together like that. And it's like,
but to that point, let me make a valid point here. You don't know who somebody knows.
yeah.
You don't know who the future of that person's gonna know, because the person that you just shitted on,
Yeah, or who they gonna be, yeah.
that may be the next scooter. Like, you don't know who that is. So I say that, and you need to be very cautious with how you treat people in general.
Don't burn bridges neither, like.
But even when you're around, like, don't be that person that's talking shit on, you were in the studio and the producer did something, so now you're talking shit about them, but you don't know that that's my homeboy from 7th grade.
Right.
So now I don't want to fuck with you because you're talking shit about somebody, so I can't have you in my studio talking about these people. Like,
yeah.
It's a time and a place for everything, but at the end of the day, in this industry is very big, but it's very small. And let me say that again in case it's very big, but it's very small.
Very, very small. And it's high school.
And it's high school, and it's juvenile, and it can be very petty.
Yeah.
And it's, you know,
it's the you can't sit with us.
Yeah,
at this
and
table,
you don't fuck with this person, so we can't fuck with that person, so this person that, like.
It's high school, bro. Like,
but
it's crazy. You ever heard the record we did?
The one you molded?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm so blessed to have that.
That's just crazy. I had
her on a song. That's crazy, and that was full circle for me right there. Like
that's crazy.
Yeah, shout out Lil Mo. You know we love you, girl.
We do.
You know
I do. I will always hold a special place in my heart for Mo.
Cool people's good people. So what happened after?
So with Mo, I mean, Mo and I were great, but now at this point, like her career, like we just put out P.S. I Love Me, like, you know, we were working on L's Up. We were working on, you know, we did a song with Tweet. We just got done doing the video with Tweet. Which Tweet is another one. Tweet has, and you know, these are artists that aren't around today, and I say that not the actual artists. I mean, the powerhouse that these ladies have, the real singers, the no auto tune, like the ad libs that these ladies can to have, and you know, there's so many other ladies that come to mind, but there was different things moving, and Mo had a lot of shit going on personally at this point. Very, very personal with her. You know, she was in the middle of a new relationship. There was just a lot going on with her. So things started to rapidly fall off in terms of we weren't touring. We weren't really working on music. There wasn't a lot of stuff going on. So I had more and more time on my plate. And at this point, I'm like, okay, well, I can start working with other artists. So I started doing little stuff here and there, like Rough Ends and Drew Hill and, you know, all these people. I was just kind of tapping into the network that I started to build at this point, because when I'm with Meezy, I think one of my biggest, and if I had to compliment myself, one of my biggest reasons as to why I've done so well is because I am very good at networking. I am very good at finding out. I have never been that bitch that wants to go talk to the celebrity. If I'm getting on the tour bus, I'll walk right past. 9 times out of 10, I don't even know who the fucking celebrity is. Because I don't give a fuck. If you're not cutting me a check, I don't care. I don't care who you are. I don't care that you're the biggest rapper. I don't care that you're the biggest actress. I don't care. Are we breaking bread? No, I don't care. You have no value to me. And it goes back to that value statement. I don't care that you make great music. You have value for me if I'm in an emotional state of mind and I need a song to cry to. That's your value. I might cry to your record. But sitting across the table from you, I don't care unless you're cool as shit and we just become friends, that's natural and organic, cool. I don't care who you are, so I'm going to blow right past you. I'm going right for your manager. How I met this whole crew.
Okay.
So, again, I'm with Little Mo.
But it's a lot going on before you're meeting this crew, like as far as us, but you're going to jump to that right now.
Yeah, just because, that's just all.
Because
there's so much tedious shit.
It's going to be in your book.
There's just so much tedious day-to-day, like sneaking into concerts and like,
yeah.
I am that bitch that I don't need credentials because I have learned that there's a certain way to walk backstage like you own that motherfucker.
Yeah, I learned
like,
that. Yeah, you got to move like you.
And they can all testimony. We will go to a show and I don't care if Brat's with me or not. I will walk in that building I don't care who stopped. And if they've stopped us, I've been like, no, it's okay. And I just keep going. I'm like, no, they're good. No, they're good. No, oh no, I'm walking them backstage. It's good. It's good. And they're like, and before the security can even figure out what the fuck just happened, I'm already backstage. Like,
that's good. That's dope. That's dope.
It's you gotta own your presence, right? So if I'm coming there and I'm owning it, like this is my motherfucking building, and now I'm in the industry, so I know the lingo, and I know what to say, and I know who to ask for, and I know what my purpose is there. I'm not going to the fucking concert to go to the concert. I'm going because I need to get backstage because there is somebody there that I know I need to engage with. There is somebody there that I need to have a conversation with. If I'm going to a concert, it's because I really like the artist and I want to see them perform live and I want to go on the other side of the stage. So I'm going to have an actual ticket. Like I'm going to support you and buy a ticket or I'm going to call in a favor to Brat.
Yeah. Yes.
But again, it goes to know your purpose, know why you're going, and know how to get in to wherever you're going to be. And when you get in, it's carry yourself in the right mannerisms. I have been backstage talking to some of the biggest names and never once have been questioned as to who I'm there with or what I'm doing. It's just started into a full-blown conversation. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. Let's exchange phone numbers. Oh, you going here? Shit, where the after party? Cool, let's go. And then somehow I'm on somebody else's tour bus going to somebody else. But what I will also say as well is there is one thing that I'm very, very adamant about is I set my tone. And what I mean by that is I set my tone in this industry that I am only here to do business. I do not mix business with pleasure. Never have. Never want to. I don't cross that line because I will say in this industry is that if you cross that line once,
don't do it.
It is no going back, and it is a fucked up industry that you get branded. And you will be branded in this industry as this bitch that does this or this bitch. So now every other person that you meet is gonna think something.
Yeah.
So if you are going to cross that line, that motherfucker better be worth it. That motherfucker better put a ring on it. That motherfucker better do something with it. Like, there better be a relationship there because it could potentially jeopardize your business. And there's no dick or pussy that's good enough for that. Like, it's just not, it's not there. Like, there is how many bajillions of people in the world, like, you can find somebody else.
Right.
So know your purpose. And I have and I think when I started in this industry, like, I would walk into the room and be like, I'm a lesbian. Nobody talk to me. I'm here. Like, I'm not here to do this. Like, I'm here to look at the same bitches y'all looking at. Like, I was so loud with it.
Stop.
Because I did not want anyone to perceive me that way.
Where did we, you keep saying we met.
We met at Ricky Smiley, not Ricky's, we met at the Tom Joyner show in Orlando.
I always say it was before that.
I've met you at shows, but we never really engaged.
Yeah, like it shows, because I remember...
We would do shows, we would always cross paths through the years.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, because that's why I was like, I know I met you before that.
No. There was years that we've crossed paths, we've done festivals together.
Right. Okay. So that's okay. But you're saying officially to where we like...
We didn't sit down and like chop it up. We were never at that point like in each other's dressing rooms like we were in Orlando.
Yeah, like Orlando. Okay.
Because it was always in a lot of the shows, and it's not that we didn't want to, because there was no beef between any of our camps. Right. It was just a lot, especially with these outdoor festivals. Like there's no dressing room. You in and out. Like, and it's fucking 8,000 degrees. Like you want to get in and you want to get out. Yeah. So there was no time for us to really chop it up with each other, because a lot of the shows that we did, we didn't do after parties. Like we didn't go here, we didn't go there. Like we were just all over the place.
I remember you, and this is what I'm saying. My first memory of you is what I remember it, and you don't remember it because I think I tried to tell you this before.
I could have been high,
but I think we was high when I was trying to tell you, or then at the moment.
Both.
I think I want to say we was in the DMV, so I know we was either in.
Oh, I was probably definitely high.
We was either in DC or we was in Baltimore, one of the two. And we came to Lil Mo's show. We didn't have a show there.
Okay.
We was just coming to fuck with her to show support and and catch the show. And it was it wasn't a huge venue. It was like a smaller type of venue. And I remember it specifically because this is when she she do her thing when she performing. She was on the floor on her back hitting crazy notes something like that. The crowd's going crazy, but it was like a smaller venue, but it was a bunch of people and they were trying to afterwards get to us. And I remember you was like this on it, like this way, move here, some. And I was just like, who's this?
It was Baltimore. I think it is Baltimore.
Cause it was like
I remember the show now.
You were straight like controlling.
I go into like security mode.
Yeah, mm-hmm. You were straight controlling all of us, like telling us move here, move there, and then the rides all of a sudden showed up outside. Oh, go there, go there. Alex, so I was just like, who is this girl? Like, just what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, this Bella, whatever. And I'm like, oh, hey, something like that. But it was real quick. It was real quick, so we didn't chop it up or nothing. But that's when I just noticed, because I was like, you was just like moving some shit, like you was just controlling shit, and I was just like, oh man, she's dope.
That was I hearing you say with the stage and the way, because I remember them closing in, and I remember that we were moved. There was like three different camps there that I was trying to move.
Yeah, it was tight.
But I will say to that, like, if anybody ever sees me when we are on the road, nobody matters to me except for my artist. I don't care. I have had their mamas cuss me out. I have had their aunties cuss me out. I've had their kids cuss me out. Like, my job, and especially as I transitioned with Brat into a road manager, and that's a little bit of a different than a general manager, is to control what happens on the road and what happens on that stage. So when I am on a road environment, I have blinders on to anything else that you're saying to me. So when someone's saying, hey, or someone's trying to do this, or we're walking through, I don't see shit except for I need to go from here to there, get them people here, get this person on stage. I need her to kill the show, and then we need to leave. Yeah, nobody else matters.
You was straight on it. So we chopped it up in Orlando, but you was still with Lil Mo.
So I was still managing her then.
Yeah, because I remember that.
I was full manager at that point.
So who approached with this situation with Brat? How did that come about? Like, how did you make that happen?
So, Mo started to go into Mo mode, and she wanted to take some time back because she got pregnant.
Okay.
With baby number, I think this was 3 at this point. Or maybe 4. I don't remember where we're at in the timeline. But she wanted to take some time back. And she also knew at this point, like, I wanted to start working with some other artists, so I was just like, hey, I think I'm going to start working with some other artists. I know you're getting ready to go into full mommy mode. Like, we cool. And Mo's very supportive. She was like, yes, absolutely. But if I call you, like, you better be there. And I was like, oh, I'll always be there for you. Like, not a problem.
Yeah.
So before that conversation happened, though, we did a show for Tom Joyner. Tom Joyner always did these big family reunions.
Yes.
And this happened to be the Ladies of Hip Hop. And it consisted of Little Mo, Da Brat, and Moni Love. And I hadn't really, really met Brat. I've always been a fan of Brat. I've always loved Brat's music. I've always thought she was a dope-ass fucking artist. I would skate to her shit. Like, I always thought that she was really fly. But I never worked with a rapper. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone that I worked with was singers.
Right.
from pop to like everybody that I fucked with were singers.
Okay.
Rap is like, y'all a whole other industry. In and of itself, it's a whole other industry.
Different type of conduct.
And different type of rider. Like I'm talking, I'm trying to get honey and tea to Hennessy. Like it's it's different green room requirements. Like it's just different. So I met you guys and we were doing like sound check and it was you and Flick.
Yep.
And
Big Flick.
Yeah.
Shout out.
And me and Meezy and I think Neville's was with us at that point. Because Neville's was her road manager because I was her manager.
Big up Neville's.
So again, there's so when you hear these terminologies, you have to understand what people's roles are. So they're and this is the other thing. No one's greedy in this industry. Everybody has a place. So whether you're a manager, a road manager, an assistant, public relations, everybody has a part. But at the end of the day, we all still work as a team so our artists can succeed. So whether I overlap into someone else's job role or they overlap into mine, at the end of the day, we're still a team. And as long as we work together and it's functional, everybody wins.
It's all about the success of the brand.
100%. And, with that being said, we had to go do that jingle. So we went in, they wanted to do the Moni Love jingle with Moni, Brat, and Meezy. And they were like, well, you guys are going to write something. And Juice was there and like... It was the first time that I was really seeing Brat. And she had to write a line, and Mo was really quick. Like, these are 3 dope-ass women that really write their own shit. Like, own your craft. Like, be able to, don't be a rapper that can't get on and do a freestyle or can't write no shit. Like, own your craft.
I got some footage of that.
And so do I. And I remember them sitting, and these women started getting so competitive because they started telling each other their verses, and I remember Brat hearing Moni Love's verse because Moni was first.
Yeah.
And she came on with her little British accent. And she spit her verse. And I remember Brat being like, nah, fuck this. And she ran back to the table and she was like, I gotta redo my verse. Like, fuck that. She ain't coming that hard. I thought this was a radio record. I didn't know she was coming like that. So
yeah.
And it made me laugh so hard because I was like, I love this person. Like, this is for a radio. This was nothing serious.
Right,
it was a radio jingle. Like, there was nobody making money.
Right.
But she was like, fuck that. Nobody's gonna show me up. Like, I'm gonna go back and rewrite my rhyme. So Mo went in and Mo killed her shit. Like, she's so talented with that as well. And that got Bratty. She was like, nah, now I gotta add a little bit more to it. And then Brat came in and she spit hers. And I was like, this is like a fucking record you guys just did. Like, this are 3 women that did this powerhouse. So now I was really intrigued by Brat. But she had a team around her already, and I'm really respectful, and that's the other thing. Like, don't be that person that tries to slide in and tries to replace somebody on a team. Like, it doesn't work well in your favor. So at that moment, I figured out who Lucy was, and I started engaging with Lucy and having conversations with her, who was her manager, and, just started chopping it up. I still wasn't really engaged with Brat because I hadn't earned that respect yet, because in my eyes, this was a legend rapper. She doesn't know me from Joe Blow down the street. I haven't earned a right to start talking to her. If she talks to me, then I'm gonna have a conversation. Again, it's know your place at the table. I'm gonna talk to my client. I'm gonna interact if the conversation is there, but I'm not just gonna go and spark up this conversation, take this as my window of opportunity, because I knew in this moment, the chemistry that we were all having in general, this was not going to be the last moment. Show happens. These motherfuckers, and Mister was performing as well, killed the show. We ended up having an after party. I had booked Mo an after party. Rest everyone. It was at Pulse nightclub, which anybody that knows this, that knows what happened at Pulse nightclub in Orlando, was a huge tragedy.
Yes.
It was devastating to hear when it happened, but we did a show there. We met a lot of the bartenders, we met the owners, we met a lot of the community from there. And it was very devastating on Mo because it was only a couple of years later that happened. But we had an after party there. And as we were walking out of the building, as in my team, Brat and her team were coming down the elevator, and Brat was like, where y'all going all dressed up? Like, the show was over, and we were like, oh, we have an after party. Do y'all want to roll? Yup. So they're like, get in. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we get to the after party, getting ready to perform. Mo kills it. And all these little details, why I say these are important. And at this point, I'm not a road manager. Like, I don't do this. I did the contract. My job was to get the money. Like, I negotiated getting her there. Neville's job was to do the rider and everything else.
Right.
But I remember, and I don't know if you remember this, they came out with the liquor, and I called ahead because, again, I researched. And I Googled, and I found out that Brat only drinks certain liquor, so I called to make sure they added it to our rider. I was in the car being like, calling the promoter, being like, add this to the rider because I don't want her to be uncomfortable because she's coming with us, so I want her to have fun. And I remember, and this was a very pivotal moment in my career now, that the juices came out, the what are they? The chasers, whatever they're called.
Cranberry and the pineapple and
the
the
chasers.
orange.
And Brat immediately sent it back. And I was like, oh, who this bougie bitch?
Right.
It like caught my attention. And I heard her lean into Mo and she said, never accept that at your table. Always have a closed orange juice. Always have a closed. Don't take the ones that come out of the gun. Request that it's closed. And that way your team is the one that opens it. And I was like, bitch, that's genius. I'm doing this when I go out to the nightclub. Like, who would ever think about something? But for me, and most people wouldn't have caught that, but for me, I was like, oh, that's so smart.
Yeah.
You don't know what somebody's putting into your mixers. Like, goddamn right. So I would go out with my homegirls and I'd be like, I don't want that bucket shit. I want a full closed bottle of juice and, you know, whatever it was.
Right.
But that stood out for me, and I always kept that memory. And when I transitioned over to a road manager, I knew that I added that right into the rider, that it had to be a closed bottle. Mm-hmm. But that was a big moment for me with Brat. And then still, I didn't talk to her about it. We got back into the car, and we're driving, and I'm like, at this point, we're all really vibing with each other. And I don't know if you remember this or not. Brat, we were coming up to a red light, and there's a DoubleTree hotel.
Don't remember.
And Brat says, oh my God, I love DoubleTree. Not for the hotel, but I love the warm cookies that they have.
The cookies.
So in my mind, I'm like, bitch, it's my motherfucking opportunity. I'm coming.
Yeah.
Never pull over. And he was like, what? And I was like, pull in a DoubleTree.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, I gotta pee. Like,
go.
pull over.
Here you go, finding an opportunity.
And he pulls over, and I was like, I gotta pee. I'll be right back. And I run in, and I remember I gave like the person there, I don't even know, I gave her like $50 or something. And I was like, can I have all the cookies? And she was like, you want all of them? And I was like, I want the whole basket. Like, give me all the cookies. And she was like, okay, like, it's not my fucking cookies. I don't care. So she gave them. So I came running back to the truck, and I was like, boom, I got all the cookies. And Brat was like, I fuck with you. Like, I don't know who you are, but like, I fuck with you. Give me my cookies.
Look at that.
Like,
look at that.
So whether she knew me as Bella or she knew me as a cookie lady, it didn't matter, but she knew me.
Yeah.
I was now and Mr. was the same way. He was like, I want a chocolate chip cookie. Like, I was now getting in with their camp because I found an opportunity. I knew that I could capitalize on it. And I knew it wasn't going to be a grimy thing where I was saying, give me your info. I was saying, you have a need. You have a need for a cookie, and I can provide my value by giving it to you.
Look at that. Look at that. Again, with the restaurant with Lil Mo, the restaurant, you're feeding people. You know, you're kind of catering to their delights. Yeah, that's what you're doing.
I'm trying to make everybody fat.
So that's how you got in with, that's how you got in with Lil Mo, and now it's the cookies. It's a restaurant with Lil Mo and cookies for Brat. That is crazy. Okay. Yeah, so the similarities though in the way that you did the whole kind of finding the opportunity and bringing it to you, that's super dope. That the way you did that, all that stuff you talking about, yo, I vaguely remember like a lot. I do remember the jingle because I got footage of that and I've seen it, but I don't remember.
It was hard.
Yeah, I vaguely and
it's still on YouTube. Y'all can go look at it. It's like look up Moni Love, the Brat, and Little Mo, and it'll come up.
Yeah, that jingle.
That shit was hard.
Jingle is up there. I got some footage of that of my performance that night too on there. I think I think I think AP was with us.
It was
like
somebody
the
who's a DJ.
The DJ AP. I think it was AP.
But hold on. So it doesn't stop there. Okay, so I'm in, but I still haven't like spoken to Brat, right?
Okay.
But I knew I was in because she followed me on Twitter. Because Instagram wasn't a thing yet.
Okay.
So she followed me on Twitter and I was like, oh, the Brat follows me. Let me do a follow back. And a month had gone by at this point.
Okay.
And there was I was a little busy at this point, so I knew that there was going to be an opportunity for us to have a conversation. And there was some other stuff going on with Brat. And at this point, I had gotten a deal for myself for a company called Orefici Watches. And they started sending me product. And they started interacting a lot. And I had posted something on Twitter, and it was a watch, and Brat commented, and she was like, that shit is hard. I love watches, ... I remember
the watches.
For me, I'm like, oh, word, you love watches. Here's again an open opportunity. I need to have value to get you interested in who the fuck I am. And I need to get you to trust me. Because I don't want you to think I'm some grimy fan. All I want to do is make money. I said, word, you like watch? What's your favorite color? And she was like, orange. And I said, so like a blue orange, something like that. And she was like, yeah, that shit's hard. And then I was like, okay, like, cool. What's a good shipping address for you? And she was like, a shipping address? And I was like, just, what's a good shipping address? She gave me the radio station, so I called my people at Orefici, and I was like, look, I have this great, rapper. I don't know if you've heard of her. Her name's the Brat. She loves your brand. I don't know if she's going to post your watch. I don't know what the fuck she's going to do with it, but she's really interested. I think it would be value now to you, because if she does post it, it's going to be an incredible marketing scheme. If she wears it on her show, it's going to be great. But I think it would now be value of you. And what you guys have to understand here is I am using the resources. I'm not bringing shit out of my pocket. I'm done taking a bitch's cookies. I am finding a way over here. I'm building everything is relationship building. So now I'm using my watch brand to reconnect with this person that's going to connect with that person that's going to put me over here. They're not my brands. I'm just building the right relationships with the right people so we can all be friends. I'm just like the middle person, the negotiator that's the mastermind doing all the little mouse hunt shit.
Using your resources.
So they were like, oh my God, we absolutely love. We know who the Brat is. We would love to send her some product. I was like, great, send a watch to here. Overnight it to her. So the next day that watch showed up for Brat. And she immediately DM'd me and she was like, oh my God, this is fucking incredible. Thank you. And I was like, not a problem at all. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you have a great Tuesday. No, I want to work for you. We should do business. I was just like, hope you enjoy it. Awesome. And that's where the conversation started. And then the conversation started to get more frequent. And it was like, so what exactly do you do? What is this? And I started telling her, we just started having conversations. And then her birthday came up. And I knew it was her birthday. So I called and I was like, I think it's her birthday. Send another one. So they sent another one. And she ended up posting that one because it came out of the blue. She had no idea what was coming. She was like, thank you so much, Orefici. Thank you, Bella. This is incredible. Thank you guys. Again, didn't ask anything of her. And somehow a conversation came up and she was like, I'm trying to do more shows. I've been trying to do a show in Vegas. And I was like, Vegas, huh? Okay. I don't really know. We haven't done shows in Vegas in a really long time. Let me go and see who the promoters are in Vegas. So I went online, started Googling, found the promoters, found that there was a big all-women's party coming up. Got in touch with the promoter, pitched Brat, got them to agree to did the contract negotiations, emailed her back, said this is what they're offering. This is what they're willing to do on your rider. This is what, they're essentially going to do. Who do I talk to on your team? Got in touch with who I needed to talk to. And she said, this is all great, but you did this, so I need you to come with me. And I was like, come with you to do what? I did everything. I'm not a road manager.
Right.
I did what I was supposed to do. I did the contract. I negotiated. I found the opportunity. I did my job. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, you should come with me. And I was like, okay, bet. I'll be there. Cool. So this was now my first time going out on the road with her. And you were somewhere because you didn't do that show.
No.
Ralph did that show with us.
No.
Or Ardot did that show with us.
I think it was a death in the family.
Yeah, I think it was something because you were scheduled to go, and then I remember it was I had to change it.
Yeah.
But I essentially had 3 days to make Brat fall in love with the business side of me. And within the first day, we had this incredible time. I had Planet Hollywood comp us we had it was $60,000 they comped us at Hollywood Studios for a pool party. Steph was there. That's where I met Steph. We were throwing bottles around and fucking we were ordering so much food. Like, it was stupid. Like, it was the best time I've had in Vegas.
Yeah.
And the next morning, Brat had mentioned that night, she was like, oh my God, the first thing in the morning, like, I have to have coffee. And I remember overhearing her say that. She was talking to her good friend, Steph. And I was like, okay, coffee. I've never made her coffee. I don't know what her coffee is, so I'm just going to get everything. So I woke up ahead of her. I knew what time she had to get up to do sound check. I knew it was my job because I had talked to other road managers to find out what the fuck a road manager does. Because I didn't want to fuck up this opportunity. So I knew now, and I knew from being on the road, like, what Neville did. And Neville road manages, shout out to Neville, like, he road manages for SWV, and I mean, he road manages for everybody.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Nasty Neville. Don't get him after 3 a.m., ladies. You need to stay far away from Neville after
Don't
3
do
a.m.
Neville, Neville like that.
No, that's my brother, but no.
Yeah.
No, he's good. He's good people.
Neville's great people. Shout out, brother.
He really, really good. He's worked with a lot of great people. But yeah, so like that next morning, I had all the coffee that she liked. I didn't know how she took it, so I had every option imaginable. Mm-hmm. And I remember bringing it to her room, and I was like, okay, like, I need you in tip-top shape. We got to get ready to go to sound check. Here's coffee. Here's cough drops. Here's everything that you need to go. And she was like, who? I remember, I'll never forget it to this day. She was like, who are you? Like, you're so, like, who are you? And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, this is just weird. Like, I like it, but it's, like, weird.
Who was we having before that?
And that's when Flick was just filling in.
Flick was
but he was more like security than anything.
Yeah, he was security / road manager type, filling in, yeah,
So then we did the show together, and it was that night that she was like, I will never do another show without you. And she was like, I need you on my team. I don't know how this is going to work with little Mo. And I was like, well, actually, perfect timing, because I just became a free agent on the market. Mo has some personal stuff going on, so I actually have some free time.
Nice.
I can be your road manager if you really want me to. And it was history from there on.
And it's been up ever since. Yeah. Yo, that is crazy.
So that's a long. I feel like that was a long ass story.
I mean, it wasn't, but it's a lot in there. It's like so much in there that I know that you just kind of like cut to the chase with a lot of it, but it's like so much information that you just gave, yo. Like, the story in itself is a cool ass story, like your road to making it to where you made it. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about the stuff that you were just saying that you was doing, of how you maneuvered and made all that go. Like, I don't know. I was playing it out. Like, I was actually seeing how you was moving. And now, knowing how you are, it makes so much sense to... Your makeup makes sense, much more sense to me now.
Not this makeup.
Because, yeah. Because I got a backstory. Like, I got a backstory of knowing how that, you know, lack of a better word, how this monster was created. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you are. You know what I'm saying? Because even sometimes...
I'm very resourceful. I will find a way.
We'll be out on the road or whatever, and you'll just do something, and I'll be like, damn, how'd you think of that? Or like, oh, man, what made you think to turn here instead of going down there? You just be so on point with all of it, to where I'll be like, man, I could not do that job, yo.
It's a very fun job, but it's a hard job, and you've got to have the difference between a manager and a road manager is you've got to, and like an assistant, like there's so many different characteristics, but with a road manager, you are the artist's punching bag. Your job is to, you know, a road manager has so many different jobs, from coordinating travel to doing hotels to doing ground transportation to talking to promoters to talking to buyers to collecting money to doing the rider to making sure the, you know, dressing room is set up correctly.
Explaining what the rider is.
To make sure that everything on the rider is there and meets expectation. To make sure that the money is fucking right. Because if the money isn't right, there's been times where I'm like, I'm sorry, we can't get out of the car. And I am a pit bull. I am very nice and I am very corporate. And I will speak extremely well to you. But you fuck with me, or you fuck with my clients, or you fuck with my money, I will turn into a whole other different person. The same way, and I will say this to anyone, when we are doing business, do not call me baby. Do not call me ma'am. Do not call me sweetie. And this is for anybody, and this is for women as well. We should not allow that term is a very it's minimizing our character. They're not going to do that to a male promoter or a male manager standing next to them. They're not going to be like, "Come here, baby." Like it's putting a sexist term on it.
Yeah.
Male to female, that doesn't matter in this equation. So why you're calling me baby shouldn't fucking matter. And I have gone off on men promoters. Like, I don't know why you think that that's okay. You continuously put your arm on me. Don't fucking touch me. You don't know me. Just like I haven't invited you into my space. Don't come into my space. If I was a man, would you do this? No. And it's not like I don't have like aggression against men. I love everybody. I have aggression against business. Don't try to undermine me because you have a dick. Like, that doesn't make you any more powerful. Don't treat me any other way that you're not going to treat any of the other male managers that are coming as a road manager. And I think it took them a little bit of time, but they quickly learned, and my reputation quickly learned, that this little Italian Bella in the industry was coming as a pit bull.
Yeah.
And it goes to show the respect. If I'm showing you respect, I'm not gonna be like, "What up, dick?" Like, I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna call you by your name, whether it's a name or a government name. I don't care. I'm gonna call you by a name, and I'm gonna show you respect. You better fucking show me the same respect. And you better make sure that the money's right, and you better make sure that what we agreed to contractually, and that is so important to have a contract in play. These back end, I shake your hand and do that. Nobody owes anybody anything. You're not getting your money.
No.
Because what I can do and what I have done is my artist won't get out of that fucking car if this shit isn't met. And I have pulled a contract out and been like, well, actually, you can try to sue me all you want, but based off of what our contract language says, you haven't held up your part of the deal, so I don't need to get her out of the car.
We done turned the vehicle around.
Now, if she wants to get out on her own, that's up to her. I'm not going to stop her.
We've turned it around before.
But contractually, we don't have to get out of the car. And that is one thing that a road manager makes sure, is that all of those boxes are checked and everything runs smoothly. And what I say, that you need to be a backbone, because I'm getting bitched at by a promoter because he thought somewhere in the conversation we had a meet and greet, but contractually we don't. So if she wants to do a meet and greet, we can do a meet and greet.
Yeah.
But contractually we don't. So you want to bitch at me, and you can bitch at me, and you can bitch at me, and you can bitch at me. And then she's bitching at me because of something else. Yeah. And then he's like, I'm just trying to find the shoes to go with this. Where's the closest mall? So I'm trying to figure out a mall for him. Like, there's all these different things, and I just want to go smoke and sleep. Like, you gotta have a backbone, because at the end of the day, I need to make sure that he's on time to get on stage. So the mall needs to be close enough that he can get back in time. And she gets on stage with a positive attitude, because I need both of them, because they are a package deal to go out there and kill that fucking show.
Right.
And everything else that's going on the back end and all this other bullshit that's happening, they don't need to know anything about, because it doesn't involve them. It's business that has nothing to do with them. Their job, and this is going to occur, this is not friend to friend. Your job as the artist, you are being paid to be the artist. Go out there and do your job. My job is to do all this other bullshit. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Worry about what you're doing. Get out there and do your fucking job. Go perform. Go kill that shit. Go destroy that fucking stage, because there is no way this little lady is getting back on stage. I don't want to be on stage. So again, it's know your place within your team.
Man, Bella, you was kicking that shit. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Clearly, yo, I can talk a lot, which is why I don't do interviews.
Nah, yo, I'm just sitting back here. I'm soaking it in too. Like, I'm over here, like, yeah,
it's a lot.
I'm about to apply more of that. What she's saying, like, okay, I see.
Some good little nuggets in there.
Oh my gosh, yes, yo. This is the inside looking in for real. Like, everybody's not gonna get that type of information as far as what's going on behind. You know what I'm saying? Behind that curtain. And
definitely not.
The real Wizards of Oz. You know what I'm saying? You're
so
looking at one of them.
There's so many layers.
Jeez, yo.
But it's fun, and you meet some great people, and you meet family, and we become a family, and we trust each other, and we have each other's back, and we do shit like this for each other.
Yes.
Because that's what a real family does. You show up when they ask you to show up, and you leave when they tell you to leave.
And you know, we're blessed to be in the business of the type of business that we're in, because it is fun being able to travel and meet other creatives that are around the world, even people that are kind of doing some of the similar things that you're doing. You're able to network with these people, and you build a bond. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's the good thing about it. You build new relationships, build forever bonds with people. So that's what I like about it. And that's how we kind of got tight, you know, with everything that we're doing on the road. We share the same experiences and stuff and things like that out there in this business.
We do. We'll get up early and have breakfast together.
Yeah, get out. We might have to go bend a couple corners, burn something down, you know, so grab a
Take
drink
a couple
or
walks,
something.
yeah.
You know, so we got to do that type of stuff, man, because this is so much. All the information that you gave, it is such a value, like a huge value. Like you really could be selling that information. I appreciate you sharing a lot of that you did here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, like before, like what I wanted to ask, is there like, I'm going to come right back and then I'm going to get your answers with that and we can wrap it up from there. But I'm going to ask you some things that you can leave to the audience is for somebody that's trying to do what you're doing or something that you can tell them. And as far as the artists who are trying to do their thing, as far as it's a couple nuggets that you can give them.
When it relates to what you were asking about people that are trying to get into my field.
Yeah, what would you say to someone who's aspiring to be in this business and they kind of want to do what you're doing, like how you saw those guys in the suits down there? Someone's looking at you right now, watching you on your Instagram and watching you just move on, watching you on television. And they're like, man, I want to be Bella. I want to do what she's doing. Like, how would you tell them where to begin and what's basically some good advice for them to be able to do that?
Understand your value and understand what makes you irreplaceable. Understand what you're going to bring, and this isn't even just in music, this is in any organization, any type of industry, any job. Understand what you bring to the table and don't look at it as what am I going to get in return. It's by having my value at the table, there is no return. They can't get another me. They can't get another sales rep, you know, at a software company. They can't get a good engineer at a tech company. They can't get a good videographer because I am that shit. Like, make yourself so good at your craft that they can't find another you. And everyone has something about them that makes them irreplaceable.
Gotcha.
But it's understanding yourself. No one's going to tell you what that is. No one's going to tell you. There's no secret sauce. There's no book that I could write. There's nothing that anybody could tell you. You've got to find it within yourself. And I say that because you've got to believe it. I know in my field, I go hard. And that, I think that's the other point too, is have good intentions. My intentions when I'm working with somebody are pure. I have no malicious acts. If I did, we wouldn't be working together. If I didn't fuck with you, we would. I don't care who you are. I'm not going to work with you because I bust my ass for whoever I'm working with. I go 190 all the time. I do everything within my capability, and I have made plenty of motherfucking mistakes. Mm-hmm. But I'll own that shit, and I will say where I made a mistake, and I will say where I dropped the ball. Because I'm human, and sometimes I take on a lot, and I think I am fucking Superwoman, and I can do 40 things at once, and I really can't, but I'll try. Own it. Own your accountability. But know your value and know your purpose. Know why you got to the table. And once you're at the table, what about you makes you stay? Nobody else is going to have my fucking seat at this table.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Don't get kicked out the room.
And when it comes to artists, especially when I have artists approach me for management, what makes you valuable? What makes you interesting enough that's going to keep someone's attention? Mm-hmm. What makes you the next it? I get approached by people. I have had 4 people slide into my DMs and I've listened to their records and they all sound the exact same. I haven't found anything about them and I'm like, I don't, like, y'all don't even know, y'all don't even follow each other and y'all sound the same. Mm-hmm. Because you're copying what's on the radio right now. What makes you unique? That's what everyone's looking for. I don't need 10, the industry doesn't need 10 of the same people. Some of our biggest records, you can identify. When you hear Brat's voice, you know Brat's voice. When you hear Mariah's voice, you know Mariah's voice. When you hear Jennifer Hudson's voice, you know her voice. JD, all these people, you know their voices. I don't even know who's on the fucking radio right now. People tell me all the time, they're like, you're so out of tune with what's on the radio. And I said, no, because it's fucking garbage. I'm not listening to it. No shade. But every fucking song sounds the same. and everybody's got the same tempo, and everybody's got the same
vibe
flow, and everybody's got the same everything.
The vibe, I fuck with the vibe that this generation, most of the musicians that are out, but all of the vibe is alike. Like everyone has the same science that they're using for these records. That's the only thing. I would like to hear a little more variety. I'm talking a definite variety where I know the difference, that it's not sounding like
they
this.
all sound like each other.
Yeah, that's what I would like more.
There's no
as far as the artists are concerned,
unique.
Yeah, like
there's no uniqueness factor to them. There's no there's no meat in it. Like there's no like.
But I believe those artists are there. They're just not getting the
they're probably getting the wrong coaching.
Yeah,
and the wrong direction.
And they're not getting that platform is just so much, drawn to playing a certain type of sound to where those platforms don't want to take chances on the different shit like that. So that's why we gotta continue to push the culture to those platforms that are gonna appreciate the sounds that is not sounding like what we hear all day on the radio. Like it'll go for something else. So
yep.
That's important because people just want a quick, return on the investment that they're doing, and a lot of that they feel they're getting from the microwave music. So, but it sounds like to me, what you're basically saying is, if someone wants for you to be a manager for somebody, you're gonna have to see them being very unique and not bringing something to the table that we've already seen before and that we already heard before.
There just has to be value. Like if I'm gonna invest time. And I'm gonna invest energy, and I'm gonna invest resources, and I'm gonna invest all of these types of components. Like there's gotta be an end game. Like there's gotta be something about you that makes you unique, that makes you that wow factor, that makes you not like the 20 other people that we just talked to.
Right.
But then the other component is like the passion and the drive, and like this shit might not happen for years.
Yeah.
You may think that you got a hit record and it is not.
Or at all.
And
not happen at all.
Having this drive where like, I could never have an artist that's like, I want to do this, I don't want to do this. I want to do this, I don't want to do this. I want to do, like, you're either in or you out. Like, this is either what you want to do and what you want to master and what you want to focus on.
Yeah.
Or you don't. And it's okay either which way. It's just the transparency and understanding where you are in your career and where you're trying to take it. And it's not like, I'm not talking Justin Bieber. Like, there's deals that you can get where you're getting people deals for commercials and you're getting them licensing for, video games, and there's other opportunities. It's just, who are you and where do we find the value there? So.
Very, very important. Very, very important. I appreciate it. Hey, so before we get out of here, I appreciate your time, and I know I took up a lot of it, but I really appreciate you doing this while you was here, so we can get down for the audience. I thank you so much.
I'm excited. I'm so excited that you started this. I think it's great. I hope everyone, make sure you guys subscribe.
Yes. Thank you.
But no, I'm really excited. If you haven't gotten the book, go get the book. The book is really, really good, people. Like, you gotta go get the book. Show support. It gives some great insight into who Mr. is as an individual person.
Yeah, it's a journey like how your journey was. It's like, I was looking at that, like, you can definitely write a great book, Bella. Like, the stuff that I know, because you didn't even get into it. Even all that you shared with us, it was a lot, but I'm quite sure, like, you writing that out and putting a book out about that journey, that's definitely a reader that I can't wait to get into. Like, I'm gonna need to see that. Like, you need to entertain that idea of, keep like I did with mine. I'm on the surface with a lot of my experiences. I won't ever get into too much craziness with my books as far as some telling.
Well, there's some confidentiality agreements we all have in place.
Yeah, it's some
There's some shit that is industry that's been fun to watch, but we can never speak on.
Never speak on it.
But it's been some great times.
It's been fun to watch.
It's been great to be involved and see and hang and do.
Yeah, but some stuff you got to keep to the code. It's a code and everything. You got to respect the code. You know what I mean? So I will never be one of them ones that's like, oh, I'm finna tell it.
Nah. Tell them video vixens. That's how they
I ain't doing all of that. I would just mention this. We've seen some crazy shit, done some crazy shit, and bottom line is that I can tell you enough to what you know to expect, when you're trying to come up in this, definitely. So thanks for sharing that with the book. Is there anything you want to say as far as, I see you got The entertainment.
Stassi Entertainment. So Stassi Entertainment is a company that I started that I'm still starting to kind of put stuff in. But no, I mean, I'm really trying to build a full company. I want to get involved with actors. You know, I've been talking to some actor friends of mine, and that's a whole industry that I really don't know anything. So I think that that's my goal for 2024.
Okay.
And it's important because I'm not just going to jump into it. I need to take time to research the industry and understand the industry because I don't know it. I've done TV deals and I've done reality and stuff like that, but I don't know the industry. I don't know who's who and where to talk and what the lingo is or anything like that. So I want to take some time, but I want to eventually start working with actors and I want to start working with kid stars and I want to start having a full service entertainment company and partner with our team and partner with you and partner with Flick and partner with RDOT. And, you know, it's such a great network of people that I want us to all collectively come together. And what's nice is that we can all have our own piece of this monster. We don't have to have one brand. And that's what I think people need to realize. It doesn't have to be one empire tied to someone. It could be these 5 spaceships that are coming into this motherboard, but we all bring our own value.
Right.
And that's really where I'm trying to go with Stassi Entertainment, is just making it into a full service entertainment company. And entertainment being, it's not Stassi label, it's not records, it's entertainment because it's all forms of entertainment.
Yes. So yeah, definitely. I Shot Your Media. You know, we will be collaborating, doing some stuff together for sure. It's some stuff I want to do as far as working on producing. I think I mentioned it to you after the meeting. I want to produce my own show that I want to have this year. That's what I want to work on this year, is at least producing it to where I can have it come out.
You know I always got your back.
Yeah,
I'll help it any way I can.
I appreciate it. But yeah, the Instagram is
Bella Stassi.
Bella Stassi, at Bella Stassi. That's on everything. What else you on? You on Instagram and what else?
Well, no, it's Bella Stassi for me, and then it's Stassi Entertainment for the actual entertainment. But that's still like, I don't really want to drive traffic there because I haven't really launched it.
Gotcha.
And again, it goes back to timing is of the essence. So you can follow me like social media, Twitter, Instagram. It's Bella Stassi. Stassi for everyone that needs to know how to spell it, because it seems like a lot of people can't spell it. They spell it like Stacy or Susie or like it's Bella Bella, and it's Stassi Stassi. I had like ZZI, someone sent me. They were like, I can't find you. And I was like, you realize that you're talking to me.
Bella Stassi. You on TikTok?
I am.
Do you be doing the little TikTok videos and craziness? You tapped in?
No, I'd like post videos of like the cakes that I bake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You be doing it crazy with the cakes. Oh, my goodness gracious. Remember them little cupcake things we had? What was that you spiked it with?
The liquor?
Oh, yeah. Was it Henny?
The liquor cupcakes I made for Brat's birthday.
Golly,
that's my little side hobby. I like to bake. So that's my sanctuary, is baking.
Man, well, I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah,
for real.
Thanks so much for having me.
Man, I learned a lot. And we're going to have to do another part.
We're going to take a nap.
Yeah, we're going to have to do another part.
We'll do a part 2.
Yeah, so because I had to get everybody to get to know you. Then after that, we got to talk about some industry shit, like some topics.
Yeah, no, I'll come back. Next time I'm back. Next time I'm back in town, I'll be back in a couple months.
Sure. Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all checking in. You know what I mean? Inside looking in, the We Outside version. Caught up with my homegirl Bella. Had a terrific talk. I appreciate you again.
Absolutely.
Much love. I appreciate all of y'all. We'll be back at another time, but until then, Inside Looking In, make sure y'all pay it forward. When you see somebody that you can do something for, inspire somebody, give somebody a hug, say hello, tell them you love them, anything, but just do something for somebody. I promise you, everything will come back to you in return. Quadruple, quintuple, and anything after that I don't know how to pronounce. All right, my name Mister. I'm gonna catch up with y'all later. Peace.
This message is brought to you by Mister.
Hey, now you know I had to come back.
What happened?
I missed the most important thing to mention about you. You don't know what I'm gonna say?
I don't.
The most important thing is that you, Bella sitting next to me right here is the one who is responsible for my logo, my brand, looking at what it is. For so long, I was trying to find something that represents me, like some kind of whatever, some kind of image, some kind of anything. And Bella took this picture of me while I was on stage. And this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm telling you that she's such a great person and a friend that if she's supporting you, she riding for you, like she's for real about it and genuine. I never, ever, ever asked Bella to do anything for me on the road as far as capturing content or nothing. Because I'm always the one holding the camera, filming all of the time, so I'm never, ever in any of the shots. Then you just started, once we linked up with Bella came on, she was just all of a sudden, and it'd be a surprise too, it'd be so cool. At the end, we'd get back in the ride, heading back to the hotel or something, start got footage, pictures of everything of the performance, and I'm like, yo, when did you do this? Oh my gosh, this is dope. That is what I appreciate you so much for holding me down with the content. But
it's important.
That picture you took of me on stage, I think we was in LA.
It was LA.
It ended up being the
at,
cover.
Microsoft.
Yes.
It was that big ass show.
I'm mad I ain't got the book with me, but y'all, she created this picture right here is the cover of my book. So the artwork for my book, I'm posting it up, everybody's seen it. The cover for my book, you are responsible for the cover of my book.
See, that's love, though. That's love.
This whole podcast, Inside Looking In podcast, the whole idea, concept of even doing all of this, Keto helped me. Keto Abachi, y'all know that's my partner. He the one that was like, yo, you should go ahead and get a YouTube channel and podcast about it. But before that, it was the name of just Inside Looking In as far as the title of my book. And I didn't have any type of image that I kind of wanted to put with it. I couldn't think of anything. And that picture that you took on stage of me was so perfect. Like, that picture was so perfect. It was just like everything around me was just dark. And it's like,
see, that's so dope, though.
Everything centered and was focused on me, but it was like, it was a shadow of me. But I'm in the light and it's a shadow. That to me holds volume. It speaks volumes. You did something that you don't even think or realize that you did.
Aww.
Taking the picture.
I love that though.
And that picture just says so much. Like it was the perfect. That was the universe. That was nothing but God that worked through you to grab that moment for me, because that's what gave me the drive and more inspiration to. It gave me something behind it, like, oh yes, this is it.
It gave you that little
momentum,
that little push,
the extra momentum. So you ain't even know it. So
aww,
I took that.
I love that story. I knew that you used it, but I didn't know.
Yes,
I will say when I capture. So they like to talk shit on me. Don't get it twisted.
They
like to talk shit on me. A bitch can't do everything. I tried. There's a lot of bad pictures, but I tried. My heart was always in the right place. I would try sometimes. The camera may have been off. The camera may have been upside down. It may have been sideways or blurry. I tried. I never claimed to be a photographer. That has never been on my resume
That
once.
ain't even on her resume.
Never on my resume once did I claim to be a photographer.
She's just doing it.
But it was this. I remember it because I remember the way that the light was hitting you. And I had my phone out and I was like, I gotta grab this picture. And I took it, and even in myself, I was like, that's a hard ass fucking picture.
Yeah,
like, I was so excited for their performance to be done so I could show him my work, because they talk so much shit on me.
And how about?
And I took this dope ass picture.
And she automatically made it black and white.
Oh yeah, I was in my zone.
She gave it the look, so it makes it all vintage and everything.
Yeah,
I
was in my zone.
That thing is gonna be that picture's gonna be a life-size huge poster when I get into another space. I'm gonna have that as a huge poster. I'm gonna put it in like a big frame. That is it. That is me. Yep. She grabbed it out of all of my experiences and stuff that I've been going through for years in this business, performing all kind of stages. I hardly have any footage of me doing it until you came along and grabbed a lot that I can use now.
But that was a pre me giving your flower, a flower that you deserved and a spotlight that you needed on you.
And you got the other one, Bella, the other one, the one at the So Deaf joint.
Oh yeah.
And that the footage. Oh,
again, see, this is what happens when you tell me I can't do something. A bitch is gonna learn. Y'all not gonna talk shit about my pictures no more.
I appreciate you for this. You're forever Mark. You're forever brand. Man, I guess this. You know what this means? You're a part of this brand. You're a part of this company and everything, like it is anyway. But but you were definitely for sure.
No, I'm so glad you loved it.
Like, that's crazy.
It was a dope ass picture.
And I put it on the cover of my book. Put the pictures on the cover of my book, and this is part of the logo. I just cut out that clip that she did and put it in there. That's the eye. And inside looking in.
That's so dope.
Dope,
I love
y'all. I
it.
appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I had
Love
to come
it.
back and say that. We ain't talk
No,
about that the
I
entire
love
interview.
it. No, I love it. I love it. That just warms my heart.
Now you know why I had to talk to my girl Bella. That's how special she is. So I appreciate y'all for real, for real. Let's get to it,
Thanks
y'all.
for tuning in.
Yeah.